I talk a lot about the benefits of NoFap, why you should do it, and how NoFap changed my life for the better. But I rarely talk about the negatives, and I actually didn't think there were many to begin with. But after being on this journey for so long, I think I discovered one of those negative side effects that can actually become destructive very fast if it's left to be controlled by the outside and not within yourself. You may remember a video I did about 4 months ago titled NoFap Female Attraction. In that video I talked about how NoFap changes your perspective on women and how, instead of chasing them, you begin to not care that much, and as a result, women chase you. Well, I realized that that is only half true. While it is true that you change your perspective on women, recently I began to feel and be in less control of my mind and more often found myself in the state of being controlled by my hormones and urges. But it's not about urges to watch porn and masturbate anymore. It's about urges with real-life women. You might think that this is the point of NoFap, to go out there and get into relationships with females instead of jerking off at home, but there is a dark side to this that can actually inhibit your ambition of life and push you to make the wrong decisions. I'll tell you a story of how I found myself in this dark side of NoFap. So I met this one girl on Tinder who seemed interesting. She's 18 and I'm 20. We chatted for about a day and my first impressions of the way she texted and viewed the world was a bit childish for me. I know what you might be thinking, that it's only a 2-year difference, so how could you say that she's childish? Well, I remember myself when I was 18 and looking back at it, I was really immature compared to how I think and act now. I'm not saying that I am this mature man now, but this comparison is important for me as I can see myself and how much I changed in those 2 years. For a little bit of context, I only pretty much had one real serious relationship in my life when I was 18, and all the way up to 20 years old I had what you could call these one-night stands that would last longer but still couldn't be called real relationships. Throughout all of those quick relationships, all of the girls were older than me except for one, and this time this one was also younger than me. This context is important as I didn't date anyone seriously for about 2 years, and NoFap kind of pushed me to get into a relationship, and not necessarily for the relationship itself, but to just get into dating again. NoFap made me more impulsive, and since I couldn't PMO, I found myself scrolling through Tinder in search of somebody that would fill this void of no relationship in my life, or just keep me occupied. So after my first date with this girl, I knew that she wasn't for me, but something in my head was coming up with excuses of why I should keep dating her. Maybe you should give her another chance, maybe she isn't completely herself, and you should wait before she opens up to you, and stuff like that. This natural desire as a man to find a woman inhibited my sober thoughts, and I wouldn't want to admit to myself that I was doing the wrong thing by texting her back and planning out our next date. Regardless, we went on the second date and I came to it with the same thoughts as before. Maybe we can make this work. Of course, I still deep down knew when we were walking and talking that we weren't meant for each other, but still I made the same excuses. I said to myself that I want a relationship, and this observation was pretty much based on the fact that I didn't have a relationship for a long time. In total, we went on 2 dates, and the following week was when I realized how wrong I've been. One thing about this girl is that she very frequently goes out with her friends, and this one time when we were texting, she was out with her friends again. The night before, she sent me a Snapchat of her like at 4 in the morning hanging out with her friends and just goofing around, and with this in mind I texted her that maybe she shouldn't be up with her friends this late as this could be not safe for her in the city at this time of hour. She texted me back like, I'm 16 years old and I'm responsible for myself, so you don't need to worry. I didn't think much of it because this whole point of me just texting her and expressing my worry was about showing and expressing that I care about her and about her safety. We were in the stage of just dating and there was no serious relationship yet, so I just wanted to express that I care about her. I wasn't trying to control her or anything, but she interpreted it like that. After this, throughout the week, I would send her messages, but she would respond with just maybe quick responses or in a way that it's like, I don't want to talk to you right now kind of way. I wasn't sure about what's going on, so I just started stressing out and thinking about what I did or maybe what I didn't do. Anyways, after I asked her a couple of times to maybe get on the phone with me and deal with this problem, she finally agreed and we talked about it. She told me that maybe she wasn't ready for a relationship and that there was nothing to do with me and only with her. Of course there was something I did, and upon asking her about it a couple of times, she told me that I seemed controlling, using the text conversation we had about her hanging out with her friends late as an argument. Well, that wasn't my intention, and I explained to her that I only wanted to show her that I care about her well-being. Not sure if she understood me or not, but after I hung up the phone, I thought about this for the following couple of days. While it is true that somebody could interpret my text conversation with her as me trying to control her, a mature person would try to talk about it and maybe find solutions to the problem. She avoided confronting me about it, left me in the dark about the way she feels, and did all this without even knowing the whole truth. Of course, my ego was attacked, but if she handles every situation like this in this kind of way, then I thought to myself that we would get into arguments every other week, and we weren't in a relationship even. So in the end, I was frustrated. Not because I couldn't make this work, not because she handled the situation poorly, but because I reacted to it all the way I did. The whole time up until I found out the reason she was being like this, I could only think about her and about what I did wrong. I played out hundreds of different scenarios in my head of how I could have messed this up, and I just wasted so much time and energy just overthinking everything. And this is the dark side of NoFap, when you start searching for somebody to fill the void in your life of no pornography and no masturbation, and you don't have clear intentions of who you want to date, so you date below your standards. In a way, this dark side of NoFap can be viewed as positive, as you no longer just plunge into your PMO sessions for your emotional and sexual activity and you go out and search for real relationships the way it's supposed to be. The problem with that is that you start to date below your standards, like I've mentioned. I don't mean this in a way that you're better than anybody else, but I mean this in a way that you're not really compatible with that person and you lack clear thinking and patience, and when you're led by your hormones and your urges, you may find yourself in a relationship with a person that's not really a best match for you. If you no longer follow your impulses to watch pornography, then you shouldn't trust your impulses to create a relationship. That's what I learned from the experience. Recently I saw a video of somebody asking David Goggins how they should go about having a relationship with another person, but they feel that that could inhibit their ambition and goal achieving. David Goggins told him that only when you're happy with yourself, then you should begin to open up to a relationship, and I 100% agree with this.
You're never going to be happy 100% with anybody that you're with until you are happy with yourself 100%.
Gotcha.
So if you fuck around and say, oh, honey, I love you, I'm this and that shit that you got to do is going to fucking be right back here every fucking day you wake up.
Right.
And then one day you'll be too fucking old. And then one day you look at your fucking girl and be like, man, I fucking gave up this shit. So you're going to hold a grudge no matter what. So you might as well do you, finish you, make sure you feel good, and then you are totally open to a relationship.
It's not that you have to get to 90 or whatever number of days of NoFap or achieve your lifetime goals to let yourself be in a relationship. It's about learning about yourself and improving daily to begin to know what kind of person you are and what kind of person you are searching for. You just have to keep in mind that whenever you have an opportunity to get into a relationship, you should think about if that opportunity is worth it. Is it just because you want to date somebody because this opportunity just appeared in your life? Or maybe you want to think about it and you know that if you start to date, then it may end up in a breakup. So you do the right thing and curve these opportunities and make room for the next one to arrive, which may be better. I believe that whenever the right person appears in your life, you will know it instantly, or at least to a higher degree than, as example, I knew when I first started dating this girl. I hope you learned from my story, because I sure did, and I will try to keep an eye out when the next opportunity arrives to create a relationship. I will try to be more careful. As you can see, NoFap is not all about positive changes, but if you implement it with the same mentality in real life scenarios, you may find yourself escaping this dark side of NoFap. Look at opportunities to date which make you uncertain as urges. What do we do with urges? We don't act on them and stay on our journey. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you found it informative and useful, please leave a like and subscribe for more weekly self-improvement content. Also, don't forget to follow me on my Twitter and on my Instagram. And if you want to support this channel, there's going to be links both to my PayPal and my Patreon down in the description. Also, the links to my social medias are as well in the description. Thank you again for watching this video, and again, stay on your journey.